Yes, glorious, glorious Melbourne indeed. Welcome everyone to another iteration of Simsational Esports. Big bangers tonight here live from Sandown, where it is an absolute masterclass in geographical engineering, a racetrack surrounded and then the outside of a genuine race course tonight. But the horses on the track are the only ones you want to worry about, are the cars, and these are the big bangers here tonight. Sandown Raceway, though, is nearly a demolition site. People around the outside in the houses are wanting to get rid of this place, and they are dead set begging as hard as they can because they just can't handle the sauce with all of these vehicles running around during the week. The big bangers here, though, they are tight, they are mean, they are fast, and they are clean. They are ready to rip, snort, and ready to rock and roll. It's the final round, which means we are going to have a lot of feisty customers. We've got two championship contenders. Lachlan Grant, quick, mean, fast, and agile in that VK Commodore of his, versus Dean Hanley in that beautiful XE Falcon. Calm, cool, collected, and a man who hesitates to qualify very well but loves the opportunity to win a race. This is Unlike Donkey Kong, separated by a couple of points, and we'll see exactly how that goes on here. But for now, at Sandown Raceway, this is Unlike Donkey Kong. It's the final round of the V8 Supercars here in the big banger style. Sandown Raceway, where the drag racing is on the circuit and not in the nightclubs. Let's go. This is Simsational TV, this is Simsational Esports, and this is the final round of the big bangers. Oh, welcome everyone to another broadcast here at Simsational TV. A pleasure to be with you here tonight, and proudly on the comms with me in the commentary box is a man who used to be, in quotes, anorexic when he was a teenager at school. He'd ride his bikes everywhere, and now he's turned to weightlifting, riding the gym and riding that bike and injecting himself with 45 milligrams of testosterone per week. I speak no other of the man right beside me, Peter Clark. Welcome, Peter, to the commentary box tonight.
Thank you very much. There's nothing more that's going to get me going than some big V8 around a circuit where they can absolutely let it rip, and then also it's going to be very, very high stakes, not only for the championship, but just up and down the field. So many places around here that can cause a bit of drama. Absolutely.
Sandown is a beautiful, beautiful place to be, and why not go to where we are? This is it, ladies and gentlemen. It's the final round of the big bangers here for season 2025. Season 1 as well, the inaugural season opener, and boy, oh boy, has it been a beautiful place to be this whole time. 15 minutes of qualifying coming your way very shortly. Race 1's a 20-minute sprint, then followed by race 2, a 45-minute with a top 10 reverse grid and a mandatory pit and compound change for all these boys, so strategies aware coming our way. Sandown, though, 13 turns, 3.8 kilometres of racing, and the infamous turn 6 comes to us all at a rate of 255, 60k an hour tonight at these big bangers, and they are quick. And speaking of that, the man who was quickest in practice is the Birdman. Lee Crowther flapping his wings with a 1:13.389. Holy cowabunga. That is a definite place to go racing in that pace department. With that, though, this is the championship. It's starting to heat up here, ladies and gentlemen. The final round only comes down to this. We've got Lachlan Grant on 445 points, with Dean Hanley only on 424, so a 21-point gap separates those two to take the inaugural crown here in the big bangers. Jason McFadden on 396 in third. Bullock And Remo Grant, 4th and 5th, with Tommy Corks in 6th with 336 points. Doc Elliott, 326 points between himself and the Lyrical Gangster Pedersen and Rico Banachek round out the final standings. And where is that going to sit for everyone else tonight? We do not know. I'm telling you here, Pete, this one is going to be exciting. The boys are starting to line up here at the pit exit for their 15-minute qualifying session. They've got about a minute and 35 seconds to go as the sun starts to set here in Sandown. We need to see who's going to be able to take it by storm here tonight.
Absolutely, we do. It's going to be super important to get a bit of clean track around here, because especially with the wide disbursement of place that we've got around in the field, it's going to be extremely important for these guys to make sure they do have some clean track in front of them. If you've got a little bit of distraction in front of you, it's going to cause some issues, especially if you're focusing on the car in front going down some critical corners like the run down to Dandenong Road. Very easy to get that one messed up, and there's no small mistakes through there. You're only going to have a catastrophic issue going through there if it's not going to plan. Other parts of this circuit which they're going to have to be really mindful of: turn 11, the right-hander into the final sector, is another one that can catch a lot of people out, because you want to try and get right out to the edge of the tarmac, but it's grass right on the verge as well, so very easy to dip a wheel in there and lose the rear of the car on the turn in to that one. And then you've also got the big heavy braking zone of turn 1, which going deep can mean you just run a little bit wide, but running a little bit wide means you ruin the run through turns 3, 4, and then it also ruins the run into 5. So it's kind of going to be a bit of a game of who can just link up a very good lap together.
It is, and we'll be watching on board here with one of these drivers to take us around the lap and just go through exactly what Peter's just gone through there too for us. So we will find out very, very shortly who's going to be the king of it, because we are only 6 seconds away for the opening stanza here for qualifying here at the Big Bangers. And it's Jason McFadden who's going to lead us away and get himself right out there and amongst a bit of wheel spin already. He just wants to get out there, get a bit of clean real estate, and then absolutely go for it. And right behind him is a man who is on a mission tonight. This man, Lachlan Grant, he's got a championship to win, and he needs to do it and beat Dean Hanley considerably here, barring a disaster. He can wrap this championship up. There's 2 races to do it in. And he's got all the odds packed against him with the old sheep stations and bookies. They've been giving him a 5-1 here. Hopefully he can get through this reverse top 10 grid if he is in it by the end of race 1. But it's all eyes focused here on qualifying, as you can see them just snaking their way down the back straight out of turn 5. This is where it's different gear ratios could come into play as well in the car setups, ladies and gentlemen. Some people opting for the shortest gear ratio, which means you top out about 100 metres past the BCRC WOD's overpass there. Or if you go for the longer one, you can get the suck down here into turn 6 and then make sure all that pace advantage up as you come into Dandenong Road. Who's going to be the bravest on the brakes? We will yet to be known. This man here, though, doesn't have any rear wing. No worries for him. He's got a tinted windscreen, got tinted windows in Tommy Corks, and he is going to be up there too tonight. So, without further ado, this is your time to shine here, Mr. Clark. Let's go on board with the champion, or the future champion, sorry, of the Big Bangers for a lap of Sandown.
Yes, riding on board with Lachlan Grant here, and it is a decently long run into turn 1. It's just shy of 1 kilometre long, this front straightaway. It's about 850 metres long, the run into turn 1. He's used all of the road available, a little bit of the verge on the outside, which is exactly what you need to do, because that kind of acts as a speedway cushion that you see on the dirt tracks, and it kind of helps the car not run too wide. He's missed the apex there of turn 4, so it's going to cost him a little bit of time there, but the run doesn't seem too bad, and he's got a car not too far ahead, which would give him a very slight tow going up the hill here. This straight here, slightly longer than the main straight. It's at about nearly 900 meters the run to Dandenong Road, and this is where I said you can lose a lot of time through here. So maybe on these first couple of laps, just take it a little bit more easy, and you can see over the curbs, a big slide getting on, still manages to get it stopped. So very well held there from Lachlan to make sure he doesn't run off at Dandenong Road. And this is another moment that I said was a critical part of the track. The just past of that yellow line is the grass, and it's very easy to dip a wheel into that. But a pretty decent first banker lap here for himself. And where is that going to put him? It is going to put him to the top with a 13.8 in based off practice, he's still about half a second away from the pace.
Yeah, a very good opening lap there from him. It is a bit off the normal pace of him, but a banker lap is important here to get your rhythm and get your flow started for this beautiful, beautiful track that we call Sandown here. It's a bit of sheep station stuff for him. Where's his team? Well, he's basically his nemesis for tonight. Dean Handley did not set a lap there right in that section, so he is going to go now for his first lap, and he's going to try and stick it fat right where the sun doesn't shine for a 13.8 is the time to beat for his championship contender, and basically for the one hand on the trophy scenario here. He's got none and Lachlan Grant's got one, so it's all up to Dean Handley. The pressure will be on him tonight to see where he goes around, so watch out for the timing boards. He set a personal best into sector 1, and sector 2 will be coming up very, very shortly. He's topped out already. You can hear that thing limit bashing as he comes down the back straightaway. In fact, gets it in over the ripple strip and out the other side here. Sector 2 is not a personal best from him, so he's going to have to go back to the drawing board. We'll see where he comes on to the timing tower. Right behind him, though, is this man, Sandra's love child, in James Bullock, a man who definitely can put his car where the sun doesn't shine for the compatriots out there trying to win themselves a race. This is guy's quick when he wants to be, and he is really, really on locked on. Grant's just gone bang again with a 13.6. Tommy Corks has done a 13.7. There goes Dean Handley into the 13.8s. So we've got a split between the top three, all by about a tenth or half a tenth between those two. That is unbelievable. They are so close between each other. You can see them. The amount of 14s in the mid-pack there too. He's just going on like Donkey Kong. Rob Priest has gone inside the top 13, but then Jones has just come out and said, banger, I'm going to take you off your ranks there, Meyer, and I'm going to David Jones me way back into the share market price. This is getting heated up here, Peter.
It certainly is, and as we now take a look at David Jones here, got the rear end a little bit sideways on the turning as there's a car, I don't know who that was, a car going off to the infield and immediately going straight back to the pit lane, but this car does not look very happy at all, and you can see there by the throttle trace, he's trying to get on the power maybe just a little bit too quickly, a bit too eager, and the car's braking out into the wheel spin, trying to find this lap time that he so desperately searches for. And another thing that will be very fascinating that you can see as well on the throttle trace with these cars is the fact that these guys will be throttle blipping on the downshifts. It's going to keep the rear end of the car nice and settled, reduce the rear locking, and improve the braking efficiency of the cars as Dion here jumps it up to 9th, and Crowther goes to 4th and immediately down to 5th. That is because Des Murata has now gone fastest with a 13.5.
The lyrical gangster missed out last fortnight, but he's come back with a vengeance. A 13.599 for him in the lyrical gangster murderer, as we like to call him here, Pete. He is unbelievably quick, and he's just putting this car where the sun does shine for him, and it's not for Grant though, because he's done him by nearly a tenth there already. So it's coming to grips here for Desperado. Just slots himself in after a fortnight off and just comes back and says, you know what, boys, it's been 2.5, 3 weeks we've been sitting in the car. That is perfect example of ignorance is bliss right there for him. But what is Grant doing here at the moment? He's on fire. He's set a purple first sector, green in the second sector as well. So he is on track here, barring a disaster in the final corner here to get another pole position temporarily in his hands. What is he going to do as he crosses the line? He came out of the exit there nicely, but it's going to be a 13.631 for him, which is his best, but it's not enough to beat the Lyrical Gangster now, and they're split by a bee's dick, half a tenth in fact between those two. McFadden's got up into P4 as well, so a great showing from him. Everyone's sort of coming in now in the top 5 there. At least 3 out of 5 have come into the pits to start once again for their laps and see if they can get it going. Doc Elliott here, don't forget about Dre. He is going to be a quick customer as well. Wednesday Cup, he showed us how to do it, and I'll tell you what, he is going to be on like Donkey Kong here tonight with those Rangiart Simblacks guys. There's 3 of them out on the field here tonight as well, so if they're all close together, expect some team championship plays coming his way. But is Doc Elliott going to be starting a flying lap now? He will be, because that was his out lap, so check out the timing towers for him. Dean Handley though, stuck down in 6th place, 4 positions off Lachlan Grant so far, but I've said it multiple times and I'll say it again, qualifying, he's admitted, is not his strong suit. He's a racer and he goes out there to race, so keep an eye out for this man. It's not all easy for Lachlan Grant when the racing comes his way. For Dean Handley, he will be wanting to fight right up there, Pete.
Yeah, that is right. It is definitely much easier in the races to kind of chase down someone when you've got a car in front of you. He may have cars in front of him now in qualifying, but when you're just trying to set down good, quick laps, it is a little bit more of a distraction than it is a help sometimes. Riding on board now, he's gone purple in the first sector. It's not going to be quite a purple in the second sector, so this lap is started off quite strong, has fallen away just a little bit in the mid part of the lap, got it stopped quite nicely down into Dandenong Road, and now he just has to navigate these final couple of corners. Is he going to be able to get it under the brakes done nicely? He can, using all the curb, doesn't run it out too wide because you want to open up this final little corner here, turn 12, which turns into the kink of turn 13, and across the line. Where is this one going to put him? It has put him up to third, so that has now put him just behind his championship rival by 0.04 of a second and just under a tenth away from a pole position.
Yeah, very, very nice lap there from Dean. Only split by 47 hundredths of a second, in fact, between himself and Lachlan Grant. So it is game on there now for this man. He said nothing in the first sector, green in the second one, and not setting those timing towers alight for the third here at the moment. So another little lap coming Lachlan Grant's way to see if he can improve on that lap time. He's going to cross the line here and do a 13.673. So only another 400ths off. In fact, that would have beaten Dean Hanley by 5,000ths of a second, but he's already got that place secured in second place himself. So very, very nice showing and consistent is Lachlan Grant. Where's a man who started the practice sessions off and was a practice king? A 13.3 from Lee Crowther in that practice session. He's only managed a 13.8 here so far, so this guy's got a little bit of improvement to make. He's not going to do it on this lap here because it's his out lap. He's going to start one here with 5 minutes and 42 seconds left to go in the qualifying session to see if he can get himself right back up where the sun shines for him, and he's going to be loving life inside that top 5. He'll be the Birdman. Can he flap his wings is the question. Dion Clerk, we haven't seen him for a little bit, managing everything newborn-wise out there in real life. Now a father, and just the sim rig has sort of made its way into the dusty sort of sections of the realm in the Dion Clerk household, but he's dusted it off tonight. He's coming out. He's in 10th place at the moment with a 14.8, and it just goes to show that sometimes a little bit of a breakaway can definitely keep yourself on track here for those top 10s, Pete.
Yeah, a little bit of a refresh in the mind isn't too bad of a thing, but definitely consistency is what you want to get. You want to feel comfortable in the car. You want to know that you can absolutely grab it by its throat when needed, and that is going to be something that maybe takes him a little bit longer to get around of for tonight's final round of the championship. Lachlan Grant is on a half-decent lap at the moment. It's all greys. He's gone very momentarily into the green. He'll have to have an absolute ripper of a final sector as that car very conveniently gets out the way. If that was getting out the way or just making a mistake, who knows? But it's a micro sector green in the middle sector. No improvement though, so I reckon there won't be an improvement this time around. We'll just see how consistent he is with how close his last lap was to his personal best. He'll make the run down the line, and it is going to cross the line as a 59. So I'm going to say that was actually an out lap for himself, and now he'll be on the fly.
He will be on the fly. And speaking of on the fly, this man has flown across Discords. This is Wade Georgeson, ladies and gentlemen, from the very, very familiar Aussie Sim Racing to the channel here at Simsational TV. This man puts on the show over there, and he thought, you know what? I'm going to come out here with a couple of soft drinks, Pepsi's Co-style, and whip out the Dr. Pepper and go for a race here. And he's back on here. So Wade Georgeson, welcome, and a debutant for the final round. He'll get another go next year when we set these ones back up again. But setting 16s here, he's not last for his first go out here in these cars, so that is a testament to him, and watch out for him during the racing tonight, and then also in the following broadcast too in the Gen 3 supercars. He will be back, so he will be on for the old style here and then on to the modern everyday style for Wade Georgeson. So we'll stick an eye out for him during the race. McFadden has just crossed the line and pipped Dean Hanley for third place, so it is so tight here at the top, ladies and gentlemen. The top 4 are not even separated by a tenth of a second. This is the game here right now of micro sectors, not corners. This is just all about those micro throttle inputs, the blipping on the downshift, the getting the car up onto the curve right at the point, nosing that car in, not understeering right for 1 metre, half a centimetre, you name it. It's all about this here for tonight. There goes Dean Hanley, slaps a barrier on the way out of turn 4. But Jason McFadden has just inserted himself into this. He's taking no prisoners. This is tight at the top, and it's still not even half a second between 7th and 1st.
Yeah, it is 800ths of a second, if that, between the top four, two of them with our championship rivals in it. Jason McFadden as well. We haven't really spoken too much about his championship. He currently sits in third position, only 49 points off the lead of the championship. So mathematically, he is still in this championship, but he will need an absolute catastrophe between Grant and Hanley in both the races for him to become a realistic opportunity to become the champion in this inaugural season. And we can say the same with James Bullock as well, who currently sits in P5. So the top four of our championship inside the top five with Murata currently is setting the pace at the top of that 13.5 as he now comes out of the lane, put on a fresh set of tyres, and expect him to set the timing towers alight with only 1 minute and 50 seconds left in the session. Expect a lot of drivers out on their out laps and possibly even in laps to try and quickly set themselves up with some fresh rubber, and they'll be going out for one more crack of this circuit.
One more time. Bit of Daft Punk style for all of you out there, and that is exactly what they're going to be doing. You can see a couple of them in the pits at the moment, Pedersen and Olive. They've got to get out within the next 5 seconds or so, else they're not going to get around for another go at it. But who can absolutely put this championship on its head? It can be this man, the lyrical gangster. Is he going to murder himself, or is he going to murder the championship hopes of Lachlan Grant and Dean Hanley just by sticking that car where the sun doesn't shine? The points do matter here, ladies and gentlemen. This is not Formula One. This is equal point distributions from first down to fifth by a gap, so it's not going to be easy for this man to think about which way he wants to go. It is unbelievable. This guy here is about to go for his final lap to set up his last lap of qualifying here, and he's got some traffic in front of him. That's Dean Hanley further down the road, so he's starting his final flying lap. So is McFadden behind him, and so is Andre Elliott. So it is a C here of Kiwis, ladies and gentlemen, a Kiwi C, as I would say, and that is not the way to go to turn one, but he's managed to stick it fat and power slide his way out. There's Doc Elliott. Unbelievable good stuff there. That was beautiful, beautiful driving there from Andre Elliott, but it's not the quickest way around. It might look glamorous in qualifying. It's not the place to go, but the lyrical gangster here. Micro sectors in the green for the first little bits of Sector 1, but it's not any improvement here in Sector 1 himself coming onto Sector 2. Lachlan Grant has just crossed the line now. Good timing from him too. Massive, massive clean space in front of him. He can improve himself and maybe take the pole position of the lyrical gangster. McFadden, however, is still trying to get his way up there. He's been held up by Dean Hanley here as well as the checkered flag is out. Dino's not on for an improvement here at all for his final lap of qualifying. There's a bit of flashing there from McFadden. Lachlan Grant's done though. He binned it. He's out. He's only going to get second place. That's his best possible scenario here. Can McFadden Hanley get behind him and absolutely overtake him? Can the lyrical gangster improve on his lap? He's only got 3 seconds left to go to cross the line to make that any improvement on his best, and he doesn't, but it's secured. Top 1 place on the grid, pole position coming Des Murata's way. The lyrical gangster has absolutely murdered that qualifying session himself. Lachlan Grant is second on the grid. McFadden in third. We'll have to settle for that. He wasn't on the improve on the last one. Neither was Dean Hanley, a 14.3 for him, so he's rightfully peed off. James Bullock in fifth place as well with a 13.778 to insert himself in that top 5 position. Let's go here and quickly check these cars. There's Doc Elliott for 6. Pedersen gets 7. Didn't call him all qualifying, but sneaky into the top 10. There's James Pedersen. Olive as well. They both of those cars just settled themselves in and thought that was enough, and that was exactly the right call. Dion Clerk inserted himself in the top 10 as well with Derek Whistler coming back into the grid. Ezra Simons here, or the wheel we like to call him, or Spud Simons is his new name. So Spuddy Bear in 11th place. Sam Bensley for ARD Importing, a naming right sponsor there as well. Ladies and gentlemen, get yourselves into there for any of your Zamp racing gear. He'll give you a deal on all of it. If you're into speedway racing, whatever in real life, that is the man to go with. And the rest of them will fall down the grid here at the moment. We had David Jones there in 13th place. 14th for Wade Georgeson on debut. Priest gets 15th. Sam Dooley got 16th. And then Tommy Corks got into 17th place as well as they exit the server. That is it. But how tight was that top 6? That was unbloody believable. Only 300ths of a second there, split P1 and 2. Then only 400ths of a second, split P2 and 3. And then 8,000ths of a second, split P3 and 4 there. Wow. What a show. What an ensemble. And this is setting us up beautifully for race 1, Pete.
It certainly is. Race 1 is going to be an absolute ripper, and it's going to be Des Murata who's set himself up beautifully to try and get himself his first win of the season, but it's going to be Lachlan Grant lining up in that second position. He is going to be trying to get himself a win, because a win and a few extra points in the championship is going to make it just that little bit more harder for Hanley to try and get himself a win in this inaugural season of the Big Bangers Championship, and it is all to play for.
It is all to play for, ladies and gentlemen. So you know what that means. Race one's going to be coming up very, very shortly here. So strap yourselves in. Less than a tenth covering the top four for that qualifying session. What's that going to equate to in a 20-minute sprint? We are yet to find out. I can give you the hot tip. But in saying that, go get yourselves those condiments refilled. Get yourself off to the bathrooms, just fire up the Canara or get the aircon on if you're in Queensland. It's as hot as a dodgy vindaloo up there at the moment, I've been told, because we're going to be back here at Simsational TV for race one, the first of the second coming your way, and it is the final round here, so strap yourselves in. This is going to be belter. We'll be back in just a hot second.
SDT Simulator Driver Training is a division of Safe Drive Training, one of Asia Pacific's leading driver training providers. We offer affordable driving simulators that are assembled in our Brisbane head office. SDT simulators are now in use across Australia and are expanding into international markets due to their affordable price, unique features, and customisation for driver training. SDT Simulator Driver Training is a division of Safe Drive Training, one of Asia Pacific's leading driver training providers. We offer affordable driving simulators that are assembled in our Brisbane head office. SDT simulators are now in use across Australia and are expanding into international markets due to their affordable price, unique features, and customisation for driver training. SDT Simulator Driver Training is a division of Safe Drive Training, one of Asia Pacific's leading driver training providers. We offer affordable driving simulators that are assembled in our Brisbane head office. SDT simulators are now in use across Australia and are expanding into international markets due to their affordable price, unique features, and customisation for driver training. SDT Simulator Driver Training is a division of Safe Drive Training, one of Asia Pacific's leading driver training providers. We offer affordable driving simulators that are assembled in our Brisbane head office. SDT simulators are now in use across Australia and are expanding into international markets due to their affordable price, unique features, and customisation for driver training. SDT Simulator Driver Training is a division of Safe Drive Training, one of Asia Pacific's leading driver training providers. We offer affordable driving simulators that are assembled in our Brisbane head office. SDT simulators are now in use across Australia and are expanding into international markets due to their affordable price, unique features, and customisation for driver training. SDT Simulator Driver Training is a division of Safe Drive Training, one of Asia Pacific's leading driver training providers. We offer affordable driving simulators that are assembled in our Brisbane head office.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the race one out of two tonight here in the Big Bangers. And it is led by one man out in front, the lyrical gangster. Murderer, I'm a lyrical gangster. He is on song here, and that man right beside him in that Mobile 1 category is the championship leader. And if you missed out before, this is what it looks like at the moment. The situation is Lachlan Grant is leading that championship, but Dean Hanley sitting in fourth place behind him there on the grid. You can see him right next to that scoreboard, that he is 21 points behind, and he needs to bridge that gap quick smart here tonight. That is what is at stake here for the whole round. And that is what we like to see here in the racing department, Peter. Get your predictions in the chat, by the way, who's going to take this one. But give us your prediction, Pete, in the commentary box.
I think we have seen great pace so far from Desmeralda, but I think the consistency we saw from Lachlan Grant is actually going to overtake that, and I reckon we're going to see that Mobile 1 Commodore take the win in race one.
Oh, Lachlan Grant is the man to go. We've got 24 seconds before the race starts. And some technical drama here with my wheels, not letting me teleport. So I'm going to have to keep you on this view here until it kicks me out of the grid, which is very, very soon, hopefully. 10 seconds is deciding this first part of the championship. They've all got to think about it here now and ready to rock and roll. The 3 lights are up, 4 lights are up and ready to go here, ladies and gentlemen. Are we going to get a beautiful start there from the Lyrical Gangster? We do indeed. So off he goes into the distance. Has he got a good jump over Lachlan Grant? He has, and Dino Hanley has absolutely been jumped there as well. Sorry, Dino Hanley has jumped Lachlan Grant off the start. He's gone down to 3rd at the moment. Murata's out in front. Grant is in 3rd place here, just covering off Jason McFadden coming behind him. They all stream through turns 2, 3 section here. Now up onto the bunda. There goes Lachlan Grant, but up the inside goes McFadden. The championship does not matter to him at the moment. This is absolutely balls to the wall stuff. It's a drag race now here, ladies and gentlemen. Down the back straightaway, McFadden in front. Lachlan Grant behind him. He's trying to go to the right-hand side and get that ultimate run, but he has not got the momentum. McFadden is going to stick it here on the inside. Who's going to be bravest into turn 6 as well? And there goes Grant. Sweeps around the outside. Very, very nicely done there by McFadden. Knew about the championship. Thought he could take it. Oh, in the background, there goes Doc Elliott off into the bunda himself. So he's going to have to settle down for 8th place, nearly 9th if Pedersen can get going. But Murata leads this one. Dean Hanley is out in front. McFadden is right on the tail of Lachlan Grant here. They're all on the medium compounds inside the top 5, and that is an opening lap. Less contact there from everyone, mostly there. Beautiful driving from them, Pete, but it is Lyrical Gangster taking the charge.
Yeah, I was starting to get worried there. I thought the commentator's curse had kicked into gear before they even made it to turn 1. I don't think Grant's going to be too happy losing a position, and especially to one other than Dean Hanley, who has now popped himself up into 2nd position. This is pretty much a dream scenario for himself. He's immediately got himself ahead of his championship rival. He's up into 2nd position. He's only got 1 card to dispatch to try and get the race win. And it's Des Murata. Not anything against Des, but he hasn't got the win so far this season. Hanley has managed to get a couple, so I reckon Hanley's definitely going to be eyes forward to try and steal this opportunity that Murata has to get his first win. And if Hanley is able to do that and Grant doesn't make up any positions, we're going to go into the final race well and truly on for the championship, and it could be absolutely anyone's game. Further behind, though, it is Dion Clerk, and that is Simmons with the tail wagging, and he has to shortcut the chicane, and he's still going off wide on the grass. Is he going to get it stopped? Somehow gets it stopped with using a bit of grass and a bit of everything in between but the tarmac on that part of the circuit, and he finally gets himself stopped and ends up in 11th position. Andre Elliott, after that issue that we saw going into Dandenong Road on the first round time, still finds himself in 8th position, but he's managed to catch up to the back of Olive here. And is he going to be able to try and get himself a run using the slipstream? There's a very little amount of slipstream these cars offer, but it is still noticeable, and he's later on the brakes, not by much, but it's enough to get himself alongside, and he can't get the move done. Olive there, able to carry more mid-corner speed and pulls back ahead of Elliott.
That was beautiful racing by the two of them. Situational awareness, in fact, from Andre Elliott. Didn't go for the absolute send from Australia Post Express style there. Knew to just put it under the standard postage and lick that stamp later on and just wait his time and bide his time, so to speak. Little cracking onslaught. Lachlan Grant was the quickest man on the racetrack last time around by half a second on the lap time, doing a 14 dead. Everyone else is doing 14 and a half, 14 threes, you name it. But this man is on the charge, and he's got his compatriot in front of him for the championship. Dean Hanley getting ever so closer. It's now 0.6 of a second was that gap, and it was about 1.5 seconds. So in 2.5 laps time, this man could be all over the arse end of Dean Hanley. But who's got the better race car? That's the question that we all want to find out. In the meantime, the top 5 are all on medium compound tyres. Lee Crowther's on the soft, so he's going to have to come in early and then play the long game later on. But a bit of inside information about these cars at this circuit. You will get at least 18, 19 laps on a set of medium compound tyres. So it's good to see that one man is taking the risk in the Birdman here for the soft compound in this race, with 15 minutes and 40 seconds left to go, or whatever it is left on the clock. Time is ticking for those soft compound tyres for Lee Crowther, and he won't help himself doing that on the outside. Kitty litter just pulls it up, gets it in. Luckily he had those softs on, because he would have been off into the bunda, and see you later alligator. It's gone, Skits, gone. But this is the battle that we want to start seeing heating up here. It's even Stevens between the gaps. It is Murata by 8 tenths over Hanley. Hanley over by 8 tenths over Lachlan Grant. And that's only a second and a half there between Grant and McFadden as they slice through the final section. Into Danny Long Road goes Lachlan Grant. Lovely bit of car control there too. That VK, he just has that thing under his heels. And what's happened to the Birdman? He's somewhere. There he is. That's where the Birdman is. He's dead set in the wrong place at the wrong time. He's tank slapping himself. Boy, I wish we had a replay function for that, but he's just sliding down the grid. He can't get that thing moving. In fact, it is blown up. His engine's done. That's why he's DNF'd, and that smoke was Gonski's out there, Pete, with Lachlan Grant setting the benchmark once again on this lap.
He absolutely has a 13.7, so we're starting to get towards the times that we were seeing in qualifying. We're still about half a second away, but to be within that time frame, especially on a set of slower tyres, is a very good race pace that these guys are currently showing, and he's hounding the back of Hanley and putting Hanley in quite a difficult position because he would love to attack the back of Murata, try and get himself that lead, get a few more championship points. But he also has to be careful. Watch the mirrors. Watch where this man is, because one mistake when he's trying to attack could lead to a loss of position, and a loss of position at this point in time will mean a bigger championship gap between these two drivers going into that final race, which is only going to put a couple more fingertips onto that trophy for Lachlan Grant as we now head into the final sector of this beautiful track, and the top three separated by just under a second of a second.
Oh, wow, this is incredible stuff. A second of a second. We make them all up here in the commentary box. That was a great run from Dean Hanley onto Des Murata, in fact. So he's getting closer there. Lachlan Grant didn't have the best one. Hanley's just on a 13.8. The first man into the 13s on a big load of fuel in that car and a dead set medium compound. That is quick, ladies and gentlemen. He is coming to grips here. Murata's just a little bit wide on the exits to turn one. Missed the apex there as well. So Dean Hanley's just finding his rhythm here. Up over that concrete again. Slaps it around the other side. Not on the throttle yet now. He throttle traces it out. Onto the brakes we go. And then fire it out the other side without wheel spin on the rear end to get that traction. And he's done that job nicely there. Lachlan Grant, though, however, he's just as equally far behind. So it is a bit of playing checkers versus chess between these three guys at the front. Is it going to be Lyrical Gangster who starts to sweat a bit early? Or is it going to be Dean Hanley, calm, cool and collected to take that position right off him and then make it 2 places in front of Lachlan Grant? At the moment, it's only separated by 1, but that equals a points deficit in Dean Hanley's advantage style there. Lachlan Grant so quick and so brave into Dandenong Road. That was commitment there, plus for him in that VK Commodore. It's only 0.4 of a second now between Grant and Hanley, and look at the closing speed. He's just understeered wide, though, through that section. Gets the car pulled up nicely, though, and goes for it again. Keep in mind, too, as well, that the VK Commodore is a little bit skinnier than the XE Falcon. So a little bit of advantage there on where you can point the car in and nose it. Makes it a little bit more agile through those tight, twisty sections to reconsolidate a little bit of a mistake, and it did cost him, but only cost him 0.3 in the end, doing that nonsense into turns 11 and 12 there for that one. So another advantage there for the VK, but they both have their strengths and weaknesses here for sure.
Yeah, the mistake into 11 definitely did hurt a little bit, because going wide at 11 means you're tight on the exit of 12, and this battle is really heating up now. This is the tail end of the top 10, down the inside into the chicane. That's usually not where you want to send a move. He makes contact, sends Olaf across the grass, and then in avoiding action, it's also going to be Simmons that has to take avoiding action across the grass, and in doing that, he also makes the decision on Pedersen here, James Pedersen, and that is going to be a attempted move that turns into a loss of position, but he's not done here. He has got the run, or maybe because he was off track, that could also be Simons there, just giving the position back, trying to not get any sorts of penalties later on down the track, playing it all fair and making sure that we have the best racing possible here at Simsational TV. But yeah, this battle down the top 10 has spread out a little bit more, but it got extremely heated for a short period there.
It did, and you can see those guys on those soft tyres just maybe starting to reconsider their thoughts about what tyre they should have put on for this one. But they've done the research. They know more than us. They know everything about this racetrack because they're the ones racing it. So let them be, I say, in the grand scheme of things. But speaking of this, Hanley is not letting go. of that man right there on screen. The Lyrical Gangster in the red Falcon leading it. It's 2 Falcons and a Holden in for the top 3 at the moment. So this is on like Donkey Kong. And you can see McFadden and Bullock just starting to ever creep a little bit closer. McFadden has bridged that gap from 2 seconds down to 1.7. So it is pretty interesting to see that guy just starting to get himself back into it. But once these 3 start battling up the front, if we do with 10.5 minutes left to go in this session, that could mean that we are on for an absolute fight to glory here. Dean Hanley just glitched a little bit there. Hopefully that was on my end and not his. And it's just bridged the Whistler another couple of precious tenths of a second that he definitely needs at this point. He's never been this long in the lead of a race as a Lyrical Gangster with so many quick customers behind him. He has led the race, don't you worry about that. But when the pressure is on here for him, it's on there. Sam Dooley doing an excellent job to be a blue flagger. Take note, boys and girls at home, if you're looking at that, that's exactly how you do it. Get right off the racing line. Let everyone else go past you because you're not in this one for sure. But this top 3 is the closest little gaggle of cars on the circuit. Dean Hanley's locked up the brakes. He's just managed to pull it up, but he's off onto the outside curbage, and that concrete slows you down big time. Lachlan Grant is right there now with him. You can see him ever edging so much closer here. Grant's just got to keep his eyes into a minimal state. Dean's locked up again, and he's missed the apex, so he's stuffed up turn 1, which has thrown his rhythm out for turns 2, 3, and 4, and now Lachlan Grant's got a beautiful opportunity here to get the suck. Will his gear ratio let him? I think the Will here is just going to be able to pull alongside him. In fact, he bump drafts him and just says, "No, keep racing, boy. We've got to catch that guy in front." Oh, no, he's hit him again. And Lachlan Grant's into the fence. Oh, no. This is huge for the championship. You have got to be kidding me. Lachlan Grant's out of this one. So far, he's going to be down to 5th place. Elliott's gone past him. Dion Clerk is fair way down the track. So 6th place for Lachlan Grant, versus Dean Hanley. Boy, oh boy, that was tighty, as feisty as you ever want to be. I can't even speak here. I'm that excited. Goodness me. That is absolute championship changing results here right now if it stays where it is. Dean Hanley has got 2nd place. He's a second and a bit down the road from the Murata, but Lachlan Grant just got into the braking zone there. Maybe needed to put on the anchors a little bit earlier. He'll be ruining that day for sure. Massive, massive implications here.
That is going to be absolutely huge, and I'm going to do a bit of quick research here and bring up my my table of championship points here, and I'm going to try and work out what this does to the live championship so we can go into this next race with a much clearer image of how it looks, because that is going to be a huge chunk of points lost for Grant. They're dropping all the way down to P6, and beforehand I was even thinking that he wasn't looking too happy in the car. There's a couple of instances where we were looking at Hanley. Hanley looked very controlled. He looked like he was just biding his time. Oh no! The commentator's curse. I've done it a few times tonight. I was just praising the man, and he has made a massive mistake. And luckily for him, it's only going to be a loss of 2 positions, but it is going down south quickly for our championship combatants.
Oh, he can't believe it. Here's Dean Hanley. He could have had that championship half wrapped up in his hands, one hand back on that trophy. And just as Peter was commentating on him, he absolutely sent it off into the bunda to that 86 style there nearly. Luckily, only cost him 1 position, but still, that is a big chunk of points that he's now given up once again. It's only a position difference between Elliott and Grant, and Hanley's only 2 positions further up the road. So we've got to be careful here. Just got to keep your head in the game. This man usually makes no mistakes during a race. It comes to him like fine wine, and right there he felt the pressure of a championship. His eyes lit up like dinner plates there as he went across the bunda, somehow kept it together. Didn't know what he did. And right there in the background there of the shot, Dino Hanley's championship rival in Lachlan Grant is right there, and he can't believe what he's seeing. He can now see that car in front of him. He thought, well, I'm done here, but he would have had that timing tower light up, but Dean Hanley's gone off the road in red. So a little bit of a fight back here with 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go. That's where Dino stuffed it up right there beforehand, and he's managed to keep it on the circuit this time around. That is Priest off into the dirt there. That's full blue flag awareness there as well. That's it going the extra yard or extra wide mile or whatever you want to call it there. But geez Louise, Pete, that's going to put your predictions and your calculations back to the drawing board here. Have you got any answers for us?
Yeah, okay, so I've done a quick mid-race research here. So if they were to stay where they are before that incident for Hanley, with Hanley in 2nd and Grant down in 6th position, it was going to be, because it's a sprint race, only a 4-point swing. And that would have seen the points going into the final race, only 17 points between the top 2, and going into that race, that would have meant that if Hanley was to win the feature race, to try and get above that, he would have had to be a 16th or worse for Lachlan Grant. So with the incidents we're seeing so far tonight, it's not 100% out of the question that we can see a swing, but this mistake is going to cost Hanley massively.
Precious points are counted for in the final dance here. This is the season final, ladies and gentlemen, of the Big Bangers as well. So these guys know what's up at stake here. If you can miraculously win a championship, hopefully it can be coming your way. But when you make mistakes, it's definitely the way to lose it. And that's what Dean Hanley showed us here at the moment. If he can gather himself again, he's got 5 minutes to go here and change left in this race. He could probably get that position off Sandra's Lovechild with 1.8 seconds down the road. It's a tough ask at Sandown, but it's not impossible. So see what he's doing. His time as he crossed the line again was a 14.9, so he's way out of touch there. 14.4 was Sandra's Lovechild in front of him, so still a little bit to think about. 16.1 again for Lachlan Grant. So has he got some damage there? No, he hasn't got any steering damage. Maybe just some courage lost out of the cockpit of the Lachlan Grant Mobile 1 machine. But that was huge there from the both of them. Two big stories out of this race so far. We've had Lachlan Grant punt Dean Hanley, didn't spin Dean Hanley out, but Grant came out the worst. Then Dean Hanley went off on his own accord a lap and a half later and cost himself second position, got him way back down to fourth. So there's still a championship battle on here like Donkey Kong, but can it be done? That is the big question. Or has this man got both hands on the trophy, barring a disaster in the second race? We will find out here at the moment. They've all started to peel out a little bit, but this battle here has sort of been going on for a while here. Simons versus Derek Whistler. Simons has been gone down the back of the grid. He's hit the deck like a sack of spuds at the moment, just like he is. He was in 10th. Sam Bensley got him. Now Derek Whistler's got him. Straight past him, and he's only within 0.5 of a second. So watch out, see if Ezra can collect himself once again in the Speed Nation Falcon and go for that move once more time here, Daft Punk style. Clint Olive's Gutser as well, and he's blown his engine too. It looks like, no, he's just got some dirt there. He's okay, but that is going to promote everyone in front of, behind him up a position. Benz is in 9th, Whistler's in 10th, and Simons is now in 11th. Oh, come on, Clinto. You would have been happy with that dead set top 10 position. You've thrown it away, son. Get back onto it and fight yourself for the next race.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that most of the field is going to be pretty happy with where they're sitting now. Very late on the brakes for Clerk as he goes into turn 1. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too deep for himself, and he immediately loses the position to Pedersen once and more. But this battle, I reckon, is going to go to the checkered flag with only 3 minutes left of racing. There'll be about 2, maybe 3 laps, depending on the positioning of the field when that timer clicks over to 0. But yeah, for our championship too, with Hanley and Grant, they're falling away. It's 1.9 to Bullock for Hanley, and it's 6.3 to Elliott for Grant. So I wouldn't be surprised if these guys are just taking it easy. Make sure they can get to the checkered flag with no more mistakes, because I think they've kind of They've been shown what's going to happen around this circuit. We mentioned in the pre-show there's going to be some critical corners, and so far the 2 major mistakes have come at those critical corners. So definitely still all to play for. Reckon they're going to just keep it easy to that checkered flag, but I reckon we're expecting another dive bomb into turn 1, especially with that slide for Pedersen, but it looks like the gap actually is going to be a bit too big for him. Yeah,
going to be a little bit too big now, and the top 5 have all petered out there to an average of about 2.5 seconds between those trio and what do they call it? What's a 5 corner shape called? Goodness me.
Oh, I think it's a pentagon.
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly right. I've lost the plot here. But that pentathlon of cars out in front have just split the grid beautifully there. Murata, though, has just led from start to finish. He was off the front of the grid, ladies and gentlemen, and still managing to keep himself right where it is in P1 and secures that here so far, barring a disaster. McFadden will be absolutely loving life here. If he was a team player, he would just pull over to the side of the road and give Dean Hanley 3rd place, I reckon, in the Sim Blacks. But there's no team orders here at Simsational TV. All the esports factor as well with these guys racing around at this point in time. They are just going for a position and get the old the bragging rights out there to tell Mrs. McFadden by the time he finishes on how to go about it. But But with Murata just crossing the line now, I say we're going to get another lap here. So he's still got to do it 2 more times to secure that one. 1.8 seconds splits McFadden versus Murata. 2.7 between Bullock and McFadden himself. And Dean Hanley has closed in a little bit by about half a second on Sandra's Lovechild there. But the tyre of choice here looks like with those mediums out in front there, Pete, definitely the way to go for this one. And it'll give him some education for the 45-minute coming their way.
Yeah, the mediums definitely seem to have held their worth a little bit better. You would think that with the shorter sprint race, the softs could have been a decent shout, but it looks like that wall of performance kind of has hit the field a little bit sooner than they'll maybe expecting, trying to set some qualifying-esque laps towards the start to try and get themselves some early track position and then defend into the few overtaking opportunities we have around this circuit. For the medium compound tyre runners, though, it has definitely been an option for them where they can just go a bit harder for longer and keep those lap times heading in, and with the gap out in front expanding now to about 2 seconds, I reckon we're definitely going to get the 1 lap in now. So we're on the final lap of the race. Murata's got 2 seconds over McFadden. So if he's all clean and done in this final race, it is pretty much all but sealed for himself.
Yeah, it is, and he will be absolutely loving life out in front. He has got nearly 4 kilometres of clean track in front of him, so to speak. Does the lyrical gangster himself, and he has commanded the opening stanza. He's taken first blood in qualifying, and he's taken second blood in race 1 as well so far, barring a disaster and commentator curse. Goodness me, let's not hope it. But this man here, he's not going to stuff it up. Let's just ride on board with him for the final moments of his lap here, coming into turn 6. Absolutely on the limit, Basher. Brakes, turns the car in gently into turn 6, up onto that ripple strip as well. Cool, calm and collectively smash that curb there. Brake straight as you get off it and fire you safe into Dandenong Road. Does Des Murata. Just a little bit of a wheel spin on the outside there, but that won't hurt him. 1.6 seconds is all the time this man needs in this race, because the timer has ticked down to 0. This is the final lap of the race. Navigates turns 11 and 12 and then 13 out the other side. Lovely, lovely job. Race 1 is going to go to the lyrical gangster himself, Des Murata. If I can get him as he crosses the line, we can. And he takes the checkered flag over Jason McFadden in P2 for 1.5 seconds. Split those guys. Sandra's Lovechild in 3rd place. Lovely, lovely job from him, just coming back out of nowhere. Dean Hanley in 4th place himself. His missos in the chat saying, yep, he stuffed it up. Loves making it hard for himself, and he does. At the moment, Dean Hanley got the task ahead of him, but Elliott split him. And this man, the man who was leading the championship at the start of this round, Lachlan Grant, comes across the line in 6th place. And then Pedersen, 7th. Dion Clerk in the 8th place. And then Sam Bensley is going to cross the line here right now to get P9, with Clint Olaf taking over Whistler. And Simons did the same thing too. What's happened to the big Desert? He's lost it on the final corner of the race, ladies and gentlemen. And just going to crumb across the line there, very sheepishly, in fact. And won't be too happy with that. He had a top 10, and he's just given it all away on the final race. What a race one there, Pete.
Well, that definitely had it all to go. There was plenty of action on the track, and we have seen that the pressure cooker is well and truly alive. We have seen Des Murata get his first win of the season. We've seen our 2 championship hopefuls both make critical mistakes, and if my math is correct, going into this next race, it was a 2-point swing in favour of Dean Hanley in this one, and that means we have got a 19-point gap between Lachlan Grant and Dean Hanley going into the final race of the season. It's going to be an absolute nail-biting finish.
It is going to be definitely one of them, and also very, very nerve-wracking inside the cockpits as well, with the red mist and the green mist on the track, ready to rock and roll. The chat was off its head in that one there. Brendan Hux has just come in. Should be racing out here, mate. Wasn't expecting Rallycross and Stadium Truck Moves to make an appearance, says Brendan there in that one. 100% right as well. But boy, oh boy, is that a 2-point swing or what? 2 points is 2 points. It could mean the difference in the end. Every point counts in the last one. But the winner of this race is Des Murata. And he's done a beautiful, beautiful job at that. And he will be as stoked as a goat on the tallest mountain in the world here. Will the lyrical gangster absolutely won it and shunted his way through to the front there, set the times alight, set the timing towers up into P1. And he is the man of the hour here for race 1. But that means race 2 is coming our way, ladies and gentlemen. So you know what to do. Got 45 minutes of racing coming your ultimate way here for the rest of this one. We had Jones, Georgeson, Sadler and Dooley with Priest rounding out the grid, with Lee Crowther DNFing after blowing his engine, so to speak. And it has been a race that had a bit of everything. Don't you worry about that as we look over the lovely Sandown racecourse there. Get yourself strapped in. Go and get yourselves a nice cup of joe, bit of red cordial, do whatever you want in the final stanza here for the Big Bangers. 45 minutes, a reverse top 10, which means Clint Olive is going to take his way to the front of the grid and go for it. But who will take the chockies and the championship? It's yet to find out. We'll be back after a few words from our sponsors. Don't you go anywhere.
Depending on the simulator model being purchased, you will receive a range of training resources to help you to facilitate quality driver education. SDT is the exclusive distributor of Fatal Vision alcohol impairment goggles, marijuana simulation goggles, and drowsy and distracted blinking goggles. All are used to demonstrate the dangers of such impairments on the driver. Also available are driver training posters, driving handbooks, and distracted driving resources. Our simulators make the perfect training tool for drivers to experience how various impairments affect their performance. Depending on the simulator model being purchased, you will receive a range of training resources to help you to facilitate quality driver education. SDT is the exclusive distributor of Fatal Vision alcohol impairment goggles, marijuana simulation goggles, and drowsy and distracted blinking goggles. All are used to demonstrate the dangers of such impairments on the driver. Also available are driver training posters, driving handbooks, and distracted driving resources. Our simulators make the perfect training tool for drivers to experience how various impairments affect their performance. Depending on the simulator model being purchased, you will receive a range of training resources to help you to facilitate quality driver education. SDT is the exclusive distributor of Fatal Vision alcohol impairment goggles, marijuana simulation goggles, and drowsy and distracted blinking goggles. All are used to demonstrate the dangers of such impairments on the driver. Also available are driver training posters, driving handbooks, and distracted driving resources. Our simulators make the perfect training tool for drivers to experience how various impairments affect their performance. Depending on the simulator model being purchased, you will receive a range of training resources to help you to facilitate quality driver education. SDT is the exclusive distributor of Fatal Vision alcohol impairment goggles, marijuana simulation goggles, and drowsy and distracted blinking goggles. All are used to demonstrate the dangers of such impairments on the driver. Also available are driver training posters, driving handbooks, and distracted driving resources. Our simulators make the perfect training tool for drivers to experience how various impairments affect their performance. Depending on the simulator model being purchased, you will receive a range of training resources to help you to facilitate quality driver education. SDT is the exclusive distributor of Fatal Vision alcohol impairment goggles, marijuana simulation goggles, and drowsy and distracted blinking goggles. All are used to demonstrate the dangers of such impairments on the driver. Also available are driver training posters, driving handbooks, and distracted driving resources. Our simulators make the perfect training tool for drivers to experience how various impairments affect their performance. Depending on the simulator model being purchased, you will receive a range of training resources.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is getting exciting here. This is the final race of the season 1 of Big Bangers. proudly brought to you by Simsational TV Esports and on Simsational TV on the YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please give us a like and a subscribe to the video. It goes a long way for us, and we appreciate it. And click that notification bell to see when we go live also. But your grid is as follows here. We've got Sam Bensley, who takes off the front row with Clint Olive right next to him. So it's going to be feisty here. Our two championship contenders are back down the grid. You can see Clint Olive, Bensley, Clerk and Pedersen round out the first two rows. Then you got Grant, Elliott, Hanley, Bullock off the next two behind them, and then Jason McFadden and the Lyrical Gangster will round out the top 10. It's advantage here to Lachlan Grant because he is in front of Dean Hanley to start this one, but can he not bottle the start like he did last time, Pete? That's going to be interesting.
It is going to be very interesting. I guess this is a very nice little quirk of the top 10 reverse because it was advantage Hanley in the first race, but it's now advantage Grant at the start of this one. He didn't have a great opening lap in race one. He's got a second opportunity here to make amends as we get ready to start the final race of the season at the home of horsepower. And it is going to be lights out and we're off, and it's a very good start for Olive. But watch out from behind because it's one of the sim speed cars and they're going down the inside very easily. And how late on the brakes was he? It looked like he had all the rears locked up and everything in between. He did end up going deep into the corner, loses the lead of the race, and look at who it is. It's Grant. He's already made himself up into third position and he will slot into that third. He did try to challenge Clerk there to get that second position, and Clerk's a little bit all over the shot, maybe a little bit flustered starting out in front. He will slot himself now into second position. Back behind, everyone's still trying to find a little bit of real estate of their own. In Melbourne, real estate is very precious, and two of them have gone to the grass down the back straight, and they have somehow managed to not cause any massive dramas. Going through here 2x2 is going to be a very dangerous game, and it looks like they have all found what they were after and have gone single file, and it is now Hanley up into fifth position. He's made a couple of positions from his starting spot after the reverse top 10, but it is still at the end of the first lap here. Advantage Lachlan Grant in this championship.
Yeah, definitely advantage Lachlan Grant here. He will be on like Donkey Kong, I reckon. At the moment, he is just loving life because look how close he is right now to second place of Dion Clerk. 0.3 of a second, but Andre Elliott's just as equally close behind him as well. So this is getting to the point where you'd wonder if he'd go a late move under braking, but he hasn't done so. Look at the checkup he had to do there for Clerk. He absolutely lost it there to Lachlan Grant. So did Andre Allen and everyone behind him though too. So they all start to come through, and it's an absolute suck train here, ladies and gentlemen, coming our way. Olive's at the front of it here. Dion Clerk's just spun it wide. That's going to give Lachlan advantage, Grant a good advantage, and he does so. Lovely, lovely job there from Lachlan Grant to take advantage of the ever oversteering Dion Clerk. Andre Elliott's still in fourth place, so we saw that coming. And then Dean Hanley's coming up behind as well. So this is getting a bit feisty here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's watch them all stream through into turn 6. They all get on the brakes squirrely as they're from Doc Elliott. Look at the closing speed there from everyone in front. They were right on it. Dean Hanley's just letting this race come to him. This is incredible. Grant is on the soft tyre, so he's gone early. He needs to get himself as far in front of Dean Hanley as he possibly can be, and what a place to be right now in second. On those set of soft compound tyres, you've got a good 3 or 4 tenths. If he keeps doing that though, and sliding his way through, he will be eating up that soft compound tyre. Lovely, lovely recovery there. In fact, he's got a pretty good jump here as well. He's done a 15.3 versus a 15.8 for Clint Olive, so he's still managed to up the pace there. Murata's gone a 15 dead in the background as well. Andre Elliott, though, is going to go up the inside here of Dion Clerk, gets that job done and sends it straight up there. Beautiful, beautiful stuff indeed. It's happened to Sam Bensley already in the background. He's fallen down the grid, started off pole, and he's already dead last in this race with only a lap and a half gone in this one. But it's all advantage here to Lachlan Grant. He's on those soft compound tyres. He needs to not slap walls. He needs to get himself further up the racetrack and get past Clint Olive to make use of them, because in about 10 laps time, he will be absolutely hating life here for this race.
Yeah, I reckon starting on the hard compound tyres for Clerk has not gone to plan. He's the only driver in the field to give it a go, and we've seen how loose that car has been. We saw it when we were riding on board with this man, Dean Hanley, and you can see that out of front, though, it's Olaf. He had to go defensive down into Dandenong Road, and it has bunched this pack right up once again. I reckon it's going to be about a second that is separating the top 4 or 5 cars here. So we thought the top 3 separated by a second was intense stuff. Look at this train that we have got here in race 2. And it looks like Grant hasn't been able to get the exit that he wanted, tucked up right behind Olaf. And look, there's a little bit of team games happening here because it is Olaf giving the slipstream to Elliot. And is Elliot now going to be able to make the move? He gets kind of boxed in because Olaf has gone defensive for Grant, but that's giving the inside to Elliot. And Elliot has made his way through into second position. We can see further behind, that's Handley. He's trying to make a move to get himself up into 4th position. There's contact, and he holds on to it. That is very, very good driving, and that is why he is one of the championship contenders.
Oh, Jeff, genuinely would have been a brown pants moment there, though, for Dean Hanley, because him and Clerk got together. They both went sideways, and thank goodness Dean Hanley came out the other side. But that is a big, big gap there between himself and Lachlan Grant there that Dean Hanley has to get back up onto the rear wing of this VK Commodore and go for it once again. But I'm telling you here, it's on at the front because Andre Elliott has got past Clint Olive. Beautiful overtake there, and that's invited Grant back into it as well. Hanley's out of this one. Dion is 100%. Doc Elliott's got it. Olive is just fighting it back once again to Lachlan Grant. Take no prisoners, championship style. He doesn't care. That's backed up Grant into Hanley as well. And then we've got Clerk and Murata and Bullock and McFadden all split by 3 or 4 tenths of a second. This is a 7 or 8 car suck train here as Lachlan Grant gets a beautiful overlap. The slipstream down the front straightaway is his now, so he's going to take P2 off Olive. What can Dean Hanley do? That was a lock up there as well from Doc Elliott in front. Has he gone wide? No, he hasn't. He stuck it together, but Lachlan Grant did there too. And now they're all full on the defence here. Let's have a look on board from Dean Hanley's car because boy, oh boy, this is heating up. There's Lachlan Grant 100 metres down the road, and this is all onto it. Lachlan Grant's wide twice in 2 corners there. He's had to be checked up himself, did Clint Olive, and Dean Hanley in the meantime has also got checked up as well. Dean Hanley, he needs to get himself further up the grid. Soft compound tyre for Lachlan Grant is not working out for him because Doc Elliott is leading this one and taking the charge. This is cracking stuff. You can see him ever getting so close as Dean Hanley. That is sparks flying from Olive's car in front. Over the grass he goes, full aggression style. Dean Hanley is just about to putt the end, but finally gets that thing pulled up just at the nth degree. Nearly sent Olive off into the corner of Dandenong Road into the sand trap. Good car control, lovely driving, but these boys are just letting everyone back into it. It's still only 2 or 3 tenths average from 3rd down to 8th place. This is incredible stuff. Look at the car behaviour there from Clint Olive, just danced it over the final curb and out the other side. Andre Ellis doing 1:14.1s. Everyone else behind him's got no answer because they're all battling.
Yeah, the medium tyres definitely seem to be the tyre to be on. Grant's gone for the more aggressive strategy, so he'll be looking for a shorter first in this race with the mandatory pit stop and tyre compound change. So look for him to be trying to get a massive undercut on the field. And being up in 2nd position, it means he's got a little bit of clean air where he can try and nurse those soft tyres as well, maybe try and extend the soft tyre stint and go a bit harder onto which tyre compound he reckons is the way to go. And that's a wall tap there from Clerk, I believe it was, and that has allowed him to now be under attack from Murata. So he was wide on at the exit of 4 and tapped the wall, and he had to get out the gas and get the car straight again before planting the throttle, and that is probably going to cause a loss of position here. They're going side by side down into Dandenong Road. Which one of them is going to give, because it's very unlikely for 2 cars to go through there and they somehow survive. And behind them, there's a bit of a dive going on for McFadden, and he hasn't been able to get that one done. That was Bullock there that was able to give the racing room required. So very smart, aware driving from the 2 of them to not have any contact. And Murata looks like a move is going to be not a case of if he can get the move done, it's going to be a case of when, because these hard tyres don't look like they have fired up at all for Clerk here in this race. He slotted into 5th and started finding a little bit of pace, but it's nowhere near to really stay with the top 4 as they kind of power train their way ahead, as that was a mistake from Elliott, a little bit of a lockup, and that's allowed Grant to close that gap that we're talking about last lap all the way up to pretty much nil.
Yeah, definitely, and they're looking pretty racy. This is medium versus soft compound tyre too. 6 laps in, they start to get a bit yellow on the tyre indicators after about lap 7 to those soft compounds. So this is now or never for Lachlan Grant to get himself back into contention for this championship. He needs to take P1 and start galloping off down the road, because at this stage it's a two-way train really for him. He can pit now, get himself out of the traffic, and then go for it. But the freight train behind him, some cars in 17th place, for example, are still exiting turn 4. So he has got to get into the pits at some stage to get himself out behind, in front of the guys coming through at a rate of knots at some stage. But is it going to be now? Is it going to be in 2 or 3 laps time? Or is he just going to go long and go for that stint in the end? You've got to think about it, ladies and gentlemen. The mandatory compound change and the pit stop as well, all inclusive in one, however, but it's going to come at some place for these boys. So they've got to start thinking about the long game, think about which way they can go and how far up the grid Lachlan Grant can take this lead away. And he's right in the chockies now, in the wheelhouse nearly of Andre Elliott's car, and they're both sort of overcooking it into turn 1, just pushing these cars so hard. It's incredible to watch how they go about it. Both miss the apex there at turn 2, fly it over the curb on the outside. They had to check themselves up there to get themselves into the turn 4 apex. Around the outside they go, and now it's just a little bit too far away here for Lachlan Grant on Doc Elliott. 0.3 of a second might not seem much, but by the time they get up to the end of this BCRC overpass, they're nearly topping out in their top speed already. So they're not going to have any overlap, no suck advantage. Doc Elliott still leading this race and doing a great job of defending so far. Lovely job. He's just made an error there, so we better get off him. Go to Dion Clerk, because he's now closing in on Clint Olive as well, who has basically gapped him. You can see the battle off in the foreground there for the lead is still there. It's still on, but not as close as these 4 are going at it. Clerk, Murata, Bullock and McFadden all within 0.3 of each other, advantageous wise. This is beautiful stuff. That is Bullock under all sorts from McFadden in the background there too. Can he get the job done, Jace? No, he can't. He's trying it anyway at the end of turn 12. 13's coming our way, and out the other side they both power out. This is a cracking little battle here. McFadden is now in the wheelhouse. He's right up the clacker. Can he get the run? He hasn't got the run so far, but it's just starting to edge further, closer, back, away, you name it. Neck coating. He's not going to make a move here, surely. He'll show the nose. In fact, he will try to go up the inside, but that is a beautiful defensive driving maneuver there from Bullock. Keeps that P7 for now. Now it's still heating up at the front here. Look at this. Murata versus Clerk versus Olive. These guys start battling. Got to let those 3 in front just sprint away, and then the guys behind these guys start to come into it in Bullock and McFadden.
Yeah, I was thinking, I've been eyes absolutely peeled to the gap out in front, and for a moment it went to less than 1/10 of a second and then immediately jumped out to about half a second. So I reckon Grant may have gone for a half look into the final sector of the circuit and didn't play out for him because he's lost a lot of valuable time. But that is going to be a big loss of time for the both of them. Going Dukes of Hazzard style, as one Mark Scaife would say, and they both got air going through there at different points of the corners as well. And that was air time for both Murata and Clerk. It doesn't look like these hard tyres are really the play at all going on. I haven't seen really too many things positive to say about the hard tyres, apart that you can go for a ridiculously long opening stint and then maybe try and finish off on the soft compound tyres right at the end and do an absolute hard charge. It definitely looks like the medium to soft compound will probably be the go for this race, but that is going to be a gain of position for Murata up into 5th position. Race 1 Minna is still trying to make his way back towards the front, started 10th and is already up 5 positions, and this train is still only separated by a couple of tenths, about half a second for some of them, and that looks like it's going to be a change of position. Is it going to be for McFadden? He shows the nose. He can't get the move done, but he's upset the exit for Bullock.
He has, but it's looking a little bit too less of an overlap there for him to go aggressive. So he's going to opt to the right-hand side of the circuit here is Jason McFadden. We just saw it happen between Murata and Clerk, and they got the job done. Jason will just pull out of this one for sure and let Bullock just go for the racing line on the inside. He does, and send it down to Dandenong Road if he can just out-muscle his way through. But look at the pace there. Oh, here goes Chase up the inside, looks for the send, gets that job done. Can he possibly? No, he just hasn't got the acceleration. It's the advantageous side of the circuit there for Bullock to keep himself in the correct position for this one. Into turn 11 he goes, out to 12. This is beautiful, beautiful stuff indeed from the both of them. Just seesawing upside down. The top three race paces have been decided by a tenth of a second. So those three have just sprinted away, as you can tell, out in front. They're nearly half a straight, in fact, in front of Clint Olive. 6 seconds to be nearly exact there between third to fourth. But this is starting to bunch themselves up here as well. Olive has done a great job, though, of defending for his life. Oh, no. There goes, I think that was Clerk. It was too. So he's one completely wide there into turn 1. Off into the Bullender he goes, and he'll come out the other side. Oh, a little bit less confident in his own braking abilities, but he's got some dirty tyres there for sure. And here comes his teammate Ezra Simons behind him in the Falcon. So that has let McFadden go here, and he is going to go for this move on to Sandra's love child. He's still only 3/10 away, so it's getting closer and closer. This little gaggle pack at the front, though, has not been let off. Andre Elliott is just doing a great job here. Dean Hanley is trying to go for it, but he can't get the pace down. He just can't get the tyres gripped to that road. Andre Elliott is doing a great job of defending Lachlan Grant off here. They're just going at it hammer and tong, and those soft compound tyres on Lachlan Grant's car are just getting ever so closer to another pit stop incident for him to get himself out the other side and back onto the circuit where he needs to be in a bit of clean air on those set of mediums, or really go a set of hards to go long. I think he's going to go for it. And speaking of start, something has happened here to Clint Olive. He's defended for his life against the Lyrical Gangster. Come up proper at the last corner, and there goes the Lyrical Gangster on Clint Olive into 5. And now we've got Bullock and McFadden lining up for their turn in the old suck train.
Yeah, it is. He's actually gone wide. I was just about to say, the drive back through the field from Murata has been very good to watch, because he's been very careful about the way he's gone about his business. He hasn't been making too many mistakes, and as I was just about to compliment him, he's gone wide and nearly lost the position as quickly as he gained it, but it looks like he's going to get the better drive traction out of 4, and that is going to mean that the run up the hill is going to be determined by the power of this slipstream. And as mentioned before, the slipstream in these cars isn't massive, but it is enough to give you that tiny little edge that you may need to make a move down into Dandenong Road. It's a very difficult overtake to make it through here. Very rarely you go side by side, and behind them going side by side and making a little bit of a mess of it was Bullock and McFadden. McFadden making the position, but it wasn't without a little bit of over curb usage there, pretty much riding him skateboard style and going straight across them. But out in front, the pace is just electric. It's 14.5, 14.7, 14.5. So the gap between Handley and Grant is coming down, and you can see the closing speed. He has got under brakes, but he's actually overcooked it. And that is meaning he's going wide. Grant has gone wide, but it was not as much of a time loss as it was for Handley. So the mistakes are still rolling in between the two championship combatants.
Yeah, it's one of those hardest things to do in sim racing, or in real life racing as well, is not to follow the car in front. You get so used to sitting behind them lap after lap after lap, being able to sit there within a tenth or two of a second, and then one person goes wide, you follow them straight in on the braking marker. You forget exactly where you are, and that is what happened to Dean Hanley. We call that the old monkey see, monkey do style of action, but it's been the biggest advantage to Lachlan Grant now. He's released himself of the onslaught from Dean Hanley. Now he's got all eyes focused on the car in front of him, which is Andre Elliott, who has just been driving the tits off that Falcon here for this whole race. 12 laps in to this one. It is unbelievable from Doc Elliott. He knows a clean racetrack when it's in front of him, and he's doing a great job. He's been setting quicker lap times than Lachlan Grant by about 2 odd tenths each time we've gone around as well. And one little error there just closes it right back up again. So it's a little bit interesting to see how these guys go neck and neck nearly on the pace there in that one. There's 14.7 versus a 14.6, both in the low to medium realms of that territory. But it is a really good onslaught here from Lachlan Grant to force the issue on Andre Elliott, and he hasn't blinked yet. And Dean Hanley is coming back at them at a rate of knots too. Look at them, they're all bunched up again. One lap has gone, and they're all back within a couple of tenths. As there goes a super slide there from Lachlan Grant. Just manages to gather it up though, puts a full lock on, but Dean Hanley has now got the best run of his life. This is a very close onslaught here between those two. Looks like Grant got the better jump out of the corner, but now it's the slipstream advantage coming Dean Hanley's way. Are they going to run out of breath before he gets to him and gets the overlap done? No. So he's right beside him here into turn 6, but he opts out of it and says, "Nope, I'm not going to have that. I'm just going to play the long game here." It was half a move, half a chance there for Dean Hanley, but he couldn't get the job done. Into Dandenong Road they go. That is a gap there between the three of them, and it is even Stevens. 7/10 of a second split the top three, all astern in line behind each other, and it is on again, far out. This joisting here just never ends, ladies and gentlemen. What's happened to Clint Olive? Don't tell me it's happened again to him.
Oh, no.
It has indeed. 2 out of 2 races for Clinton. He's found himself the wrong way around the circuit. Luckily, this time he hasn't blown his engine, and he keeps continue on in this race. Is he going to secure 10th place there just before the Whistler gets through to him? Oh, no. Whistler's come straight through underneath him. But, nearly contact. There was contact, in fact, between Whistler. He got on the inside curb, hit the rear quarter panel, and that pirouetted that car back around. And here comes James Pedersen looking to sweep up any of those crumbs. This is all like Donkey Kong down here, and it's still on at the front.
It is, and this is the closest, I reckon, in the last maybe 3 or 4 laps that Grant has been to the back of Andre Elliott. And we saw a first-time race winner this season in race 1, and Elliott, who has not won a race yet this season, it could also be trying to do it. He's gone defensive into Dandenong Road, down the inside. He'll go out on the outside is Elliott. He has got it all crossed up, and he's had to take it to the grass. Is Hanley going to be able to take advantage of that? He does. And maybe a little bit of teamwork there between the Simblacks car, just making it very easy for his teammate. He has done everything he can, Andre Elliott has done, to hold up the charger. That is Lachlan Grant, and that now has released Dean Hanley to try and chase down Lachlan Grant, who's peeled into the pit. So here we go. So this is where the strategy is all going to be playing out. He gets to the front and immediately peels in. So which tyre compound will be going on to? He can't use the soft tyres because that's what he's been using to start off this race. And will this strategy be a championship winning strategy?
We'll find out, because at 26 minutes of the race left to go out of 45, that means I only lasted 19 minutes. So that will give a little bit of an education to one Dean Hanley out in front here. When the timing tower hits 19 minutes, he knows he can get some softs till the end. But will he peel in? Has he got the fuel? Has he got the knowledge? Has he just thought about that as he's racing onwards here? I don't think he's going to get the fight back from Andre Elliott. In fact, they'll probably just keep pushing each other further on, faster and faster each lap now. Dean Hanley's been released. So this is the time where he needs to set fastest lap after fastest lap, because Lachlan Grant will be on cold tyres. They're very understeery in the first lap or a bit here in these big bangers, the compounds that he's come out on, and he has come out on the medium. So this could be interesting to see what Dean Hanley does at what time, but he's only found himself down in 8th, so he's come out in a bit of clean air, managed to just get out in front of Clint Olive there too, so a lovely bit of driving from him, just skips over the inside curb there, and to Dandenong Road he goes, fires it out the other side, looking cool, calm and collected here so far for the outlap for Lachlan Grant, but it is all up to this man, Dean Hanley. Can he consolidate some time on the racetrack? His last lap was a 14.9, so those are medium compound tyres here, just starting to get up to that mid to high 14 marker. Unless you can gain some time here and just make it to 14.3, 14.2, he'll be back in the hunt. The last couple of laps from Lachlan Grant were all 14 somethings as well on the dead soft compound tyre, so they're just as quick at the end as the soft compound tyre, but at the start they're a lot quicker. And if Dean Hanley can get himself out in front and get some clean air and put those softs on without battling like Lachlan Grant did at the start of the race on those soft compound tyres, this could be a big win here for Dean Hanley. But is Lachlan Grant going to be able to keep that position to net over Doc Elliott and himself behind, in front in Dean Hanley?
I think the answer to that will be how long he can stay in that clean air, and you can see he's already got rapid pace because he's half of that time that he had to the car in front, who has yet to make their pit stop. So that clean air will prove crucial. It will allow him to not have the distractions in front. He doesn't have to deal with battling vehicles. He can get the tyres up into a good window without having to overuse them. There's just so many positives with that clean air, and it's only going to show once Hanley has come in for his pit stop, as these two Simblack cars continue to set the pace out in front, only about 0.2 of a second, and Elliott's looking probably a little bit more racy than Hanley at the moment, considering that he had the clean air for majority of this race so far, whereas Hanley has been in the midst of it, trying to get his way back further forward after starting a little bit further down in the field with the reverse top 10. But expect with only 4 minutes for that crucial 19-minute window, I would say we're going to start seeing a large amount of cars entering the pit lane soon.
Yeah, we'll see what happens and go forwards from there. There's been word on the chat that your mic is sounding like crackly as if you're communicating from bloody Mars. I'm not sure how to fix it. It sounds fine in my ear. I'm trying my best, but let's just do a little test there as well. Can you give me a 1 2 1 2 there, please, Pete?
Oh, hello there.
We'll see if that works. I'm not too sure if that works as well, but we'll find out, and we'll see if that helps the big man himself. Let's see if we can just go to that and try that as well. We'll see if that works, but it is on here because Dean Hanley is still setting 14.8s, 14.9s around this circuit. He's leading the race by net, but will it be enough to take the overall lead by the time this man starts to get through in Lachlan Grant, because he is driving the wheels off this thing at the moment. A 15.9 was his last lap, so he's doing some overtaking, trying to get back through the field, but a 15.9 is way off the pace of where he wants to be. He's on the medium compound at this stage. Has he had that car set up for this sort of setup as well? Because a qualifying versus soft compound setup to a medium can be different in both cars, so you've got to think about the long game, because a 15.9 here, that's a huge gap. That is like another 1.5 seconds gone straight away from any advantage you did have. And now he's on the bus end here right now of Ezra Simons, and they're racing for position here. This isn't blue flags, but will Ezra just let him go, or will he just think about the long game himself with Lachlan Grant and not try to make any risky overtakey sort of moves? He half thinks about it up the inside. Ezra's wide into it, gets himself back in. Another little cork in the bottle situation here for Lachlan Grant. And Dean Hanley 14.6s, another 1.3 seconds up the road here at the moment, and there's no personal best coming his way. Ezra Simons has been a very, very big cork in the bottle here for Lachlan Grant.
That's exactly right. It's not going to be very good for him. He's only going to be losing time. So best case scenario is I can either dispatch Ezra here, or he can try and just sit behind and hope that he comes into the lane quickly. It looks like it's going to be a case of dispatch him very quickly. He's already gone side by side, giving himself a little bit of extra breathing room, going down the inside as well. A small lockup from Simmons, and that's going to just make the move a little bit easier there for Lachlan Grant as he goes very wide. He's going to have to shortcut the next corner. That is now going to be a mistake, and that could also hurt the tyre if he ended up locking that for an extended period of time.
Yeah, that won't be friendly on that medium compound, that's for sure. And we'll see what it does damage-wise in the grand scheme of things. We will see, but we don't know, and we'll find out very shortly in the closing 20 minutes of this race. Coming our way here. Apologies about the mic situation there for Peter Clark. I don't know what is going on with it, son. I can hear you perfectly here. OBS must be just giving you an absolute doozy in the background there and whatnot, but I'll try just taking off a filter. We'll see if that works completely, and let us know in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, as the racing goes on here. And I'm telling you, it is unbelievable. Dean Hanley out in front doing 15.2s. Lachlan Grant's last one was a 15.9. What's he going to do as he crosses the start-finish line in just a hot second time? It's a 15.9 as well. So this is on here. It's 7/10 advantage already on one lap alone for Dean Hanley on those set of medium tyres. It is now the 19th minute of the race, however. Has he got the fuel to keep going? Because if he can, you might as well just learn from what Lachlan Grant was doing in the background there on those soft compound tyres, because he was 100% quicker on the softs than he was on the mediums. He's just going to hurt him, because Lyrical Gangster is 7 seconds away from Dean Hanley. But at this rate, Lachlan Grant could be in a bit of trouble by the time the pit stops come around to be behind this man. So he literally has to be there. This could make the championship a bit closer than what we all thought it could be. Strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting hot, hot, hot. The field is spread out, however. Dion's just sitting on the hards here. That's why this man's been on and off the circuit all night. They are a very, very nice tyre to be on, but once you go over that grip limit, you've got absolutely nothing. And that is exactly why he's going for it. He'll go for a set of softs very shortly, I'm soon. Dean Hanley has relaxed himself, got his brain back in check, and he's going to go around for another lap here. So him and Andre Elliott, team playing 1-2 here, just pushing each other along nicely. 14.9 was his best. So again, a nice time there from Dean Hanley, just starting to find a rhythm. And I'll tell you what, his Miss O'Kirsty at home will start to be a bit happier and a bit more relaxed.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a game of cat and mouse here in the strategy world, because the longer he stays out, the better his second stint's going to be on those soft compound tyres. But on the flip side, the longer he stays out, the bigger the undercut will be for Lachlan Grant, and the further out in front he can probably try and get himself ahead of Dean Hanley here as he goes through the Dandenong Road section. Elliott behind has to go to the runoff, which was added a few years ago to kind of reduce the amount of incidents we were seeing going down there. And this time around gets away with it. Previously probably wouldn't have got away with it, as we see another car coming through the lane, and that's going to be Bensley dropping down from about 12th position, but Hanley goes around yet again.
He does go around yet again, and he will be looking for a little bit of insurance. Excuse me. Excuse me. Bloody hell, I had a frog in my throat there. Goodness gracious me. As one of my friends would say, there's something left over there from last night in the throat and it's coming out. But anyway, back to how we go about it here in the racing department. That was Sam Bensley into the pits. So he's come back out on a set of medium compound tyres in 14th place, and he'll be going around once again. But Dean Hanley has just gapped Andre Elliott once again, so it's now 1.7 seconds between this man in the lead. He can see that he's going to go long and just stick it fat for the next 16 minutes. If he comes in now, he has got probably 1 or 2 lap difference of the tyre advantage over what Lachlan Grant did. He came in at the 28th minute of the race, which if you work that out, that's about 19 minutes into it out of this 45-minute session, and it looks pretty good inside. Oh, there goes Andre Elliott in the background. He's come off. He's out of this one for sure in terms of pushing Dean Hanley along. Lyrical Gangster's looking at him thinking, oh geez, those eyes are lit up a little bit. I can see P2 in front of him. None of these boys have pitted in front. In fact, I'll see if I can get the bloody pit graphic up here while we're looking at it as well, and go for it. There you go. Lachlan Grant's made his stop. The top 5 have not. There goes Doc Elliott into the pits. The Lyrical Gangster goes around him into P2. There's about a 5-second gap between him as well, between himself and Doc Elliott. So keep yourselves ready and rip snorting to think about where that one's going to end up by the time they come out. But Brendan Hack asked in the pit lane, how many seconds is it touring the pit lane? I think it's about 28 seconds or so here at Sandown. So it is relatively shorter, not the old 30, 35 that we're used to. And there comes Doc Elliott. That is a car behind him of, that is Rob Priest, I think that is, letting him go in front, knowing that he is not in this race, and here's a blue flag already coming in for a pit stop. But that's the story right now. Top 4 have not come into the pits. Lachlan Grant right now is in 5th place net overall. Let's get back to how far and how close they are between each other. And it is looking like at the moment, Lachlan Grant is, oh my goodness me, he is a long way off that lead at the moment. He is, what's that, 23 seconds behind, oh no, that's gap, sorry. I've got to get this one right. There it is. So he is effectively 23 seconds off the lead. This could be close when Dean Hanley comes into the pits, and he does so right now. So now we're hammer time here for Dean Hanley. It's Hammer Hanley household time here at the moment. The old Triple H, the murderer, comes in as well. So he's coming into the pits. Here's Dean Hanley forcing his stop. Lachlan Grant right now in 5th is just coming into the final 2 turns of the complex. He is right there, ladies and gentlemen, and he's got Dion Clerk in front of him. Has Hanley started moving again? He has. So he is going to come out just in front here, but on cold tyres compared to Lachlan Grant. Lachlan Grant's coming out of radar knots. Dion Clerk's there as the barrier between him too. That's Dean Hanley down in the foreground, and I'll tell you what, it's advantage Dean Hanley, but is Lachlan Grant trying to move up the inside, and Dion just doesn't get it done. That was so close to disaster for the 2 VKs, but there is the lead of the race. Gone to Dean Hanley. Stayed out long, and he's come out in P1, but it's not enough at the moment here for himself at this stage, I would think, to maybe take that championship position, but take the last win of the season, put it under his wing and say, yep, I won that one. Well, let's go. But it's on here for Lachlan Grant. How far can he get up the arse end of Dean Hanley on a set of mediums, but a fresh set of softs for Hanley? That is the beauty of this race.
We're in for an absolutely fascinating end to this race, but I reckon in the foreground there, background, we saw a black car go off at turn 1, and Elliott has dropped a ton of position, so I'm going to say he's had another issue under brakes heading into turn 1 for himself, and he now finds himself down in 8th position. But this is also going to be worst case scenario for Lachlan Grant, because he is behind a car yet to make a pit stop. He's on fresh mediums, or fresh-ish mediums now. He's been on those tyres for quite a little bit, and that car now finally pulls into the pit lane, but he has lost a ton of time, because I was trying to do the math in my head, and it was going to be extremely close between Grant and Hanley at the exit of the pit lane until he caught the back of Clerk, and look at the gap that has allowed Hanley to get.
Yeah, it has. Look at it. It's 2.1 seconds now, and it's advantage. It's race on here. Who's going to take the final bragging rights for the season? One of the big bangers. Lachlan Grant's just all over the shop there. Oh boy, how did he keep that together? He used the barrier as a little bit of insurance there. Would have been panel damage and steering damage in real life, but these things are tough in Assetto Corsa for sure. But that's still 2.2 seconds or thereabouts between the lead of Dean Hanley and the second place of Lachlan Grant. So this is going to be exciting. Look at this man. Fabian Fitness didn't decide to turn up for race 1, just chatted in there, and he's gone for a move up the inside in race 2, and he's going to try and take it to Simon's place. This is your Wednesday Cup champion, ladies and gentlemen, from last season. So he is on like Donkey Kong here in the Big Bangers. Just thought he'd have a crack, and here he is out in 9th place, and he's given Clerk a good old run for the money. It's a dead set drag race down the back straightaway. Into turn 6 we come. Is he going to let him go? They're both on the brakes a bit later than each other. There goes Daniel Clerk, sweeps around the outside. Fabian Fitness is just sitting there. He's probably thinking, this is a bit of fun. I won't take anyone else as I go, but still a bit of fun nonetheless. And he has injected himself into this one. Tommy Corks as well didn't get back for race 2. He missed race 1, said he'd be back for race 2 and didn't get any. So no Tommy Corks on the field, and we've had some casualties of Georgeson and Crowther in this race as well. So shame to see those two out, but Fabian Fitness here just coming out and loving a bit of life in the Big Bangers, seeing how they go about it here. And he's just trying to get his grip together, get in the suck train again of Dion Clerk's car on a set of mediums, by the way, as well. So he's gone the Lachlan Grant strategy here in the end, and he's just finding his way back through the field. That was very wide there from Dion Clerk, and on the slide there for Fabian Fitness. He'll be loving these things. Slips his way around in the TVRs. Oh, there goes a wideness there for Dion Clerk. Over the bunda he goes, and out the other side. They both managed to do something in the mistake realm, and they both came out of it unscathed. That's the level of the car control here, ladies and gentlemen, and it's beautiful stuff. Speaking of beautiful, Jason McFadden here, Pete, is starting to close up on the Lyrical Gangster.
He is starting to close up. That gap has been coming down quite quickly. It's soft versus soft, so there's no real advantage here. The only advantage is, I'm pretty sure it was Murata who pitted a little bit later than it was McFadden, but it looks like the times have actually been going around the opposite way, so it looks like the slightly more worn-in tyres, maybe they've been bedded in a little bit better, have turned up the pace as he sets another lap there, a 14 flat, so that is very good pace on these tyres this late into the race. The cars will be a little bit lighter with the fuel usage they've burnt through so far in the first 40-odd minutes of this race, and it looks like we have got a battle on our hands for the final spot of the podium. I reckon it is going to be either Grant or Hanley that are able to take this win. Unfortunately for Hanley at the moment, even if he does take the win in this one, that's the most that he's going to be able to do, and unfortunately it's not going to be a big enough point swing for himself in the championship as we sit at the moment with Grant in second position. And that gap is also coming down after the first opening laps of both of them now having pitted. It was about 2.1 seconds. That gap is now down a full second.
Yeah, it is down to a full second now. So 2.1 down to 1.3, ladies and gentlemen. This could be one of the best finishes of the season here with 9 minutes and 45 seconds left to go in the race. And it's Dean Hanley now who's got the clean track in front of him. But Lachlan Grant is just starting to edge ever so closer. This is beautiful, beautiful racing from the both of them. We love to see a bit of Knight's Tale sort of stuff down to the final joust on the back of the horses, and they fire into each other and see who comes out better. Heath Ledger style, I think, was the actor in that one, and he was a hero of the hour. So can Lachlan Grant be the Heath Ledger here of the Big Bangers and fight down Dean Hanley's lead there of only 1.2 seconds now? So it's getting ever so close, and doing that again there for Lachlan Grant, just pulling it up and getting that tyre half on the dirt and half on the ripple strip. Managed to save it. Didn't cost him any time there, however. So still 1.2 seconds here between the two of them. McFadden, though, he's on the charge. He is right there again with the Lyrical Gangster. Just made a bit of a mare there of turn 4 on the exit, and it's just given a breathing room about 3/10 back to the Lyrical Gangster. A race 1 winner in that red Lynx car in front of you on the screen is in third place here for the long run, and he's doing a great job. But McFadden wants to get P3 again, our P2 sitter here. So these are your race 1, P1 and 2 on screen right now, showing us how to go racing here at Sandown, and they're putting on a great show. That gap has just increased a little bit again out the front between Hanley and Grant once again, but this battle is getting a little bit close. David Jones has started to get himself back further up, but Clint Olive came into the pits there as well, so he's back out on a fresh set of mediums. But Jones is just wagging that tail, and he has got Whistler in front of him trying to whistle his way further up the grid. 13 and a bit seconds in front of Pedersen. In front of Whistler, sorry, is Pedersen, and he's got all the clean track in front of him to focus on lap times as well. So, story of the evening is Hanley is in front, Lachlan Grant's in second, but Lachlan Grant is still in front in the championship. If barring a disaster here, we could have a champion in Lachlan Grant. David Jones just nearly champed himself back out onto the bunda and nearly copped the champ street there if he punted the back end. But this gaggle of cars here between Grant and McFadden and Murata is absolutely beautiful to watch. So I just love seeing this sort of battling. It makes all the difference when we're commentating here with a good old-fashioned tussle and a jousting battle coming our way with 7.5 minutes to go in this one for the final time here at the Big Bangers for 2025, Pete. This could come down to the wire if Grant decides to get his gallop on, because it's now at the 2.5 seconds again.
Yeah, I was watching the times just before, and that I reckon he's had a mistake, because it went from 1.2 seconds to now within the span of less than half a lap. He's lost 1.2, and the gap is starting to come back down again. I was starting to think he had some sort of issue, whether it would be with his sim hardware, whether if he maybe done a throttle blip that was a bit too much and hurt the motor. But either way, that has not been a great lap for him, and that gap has pretty much doubled now between him and the lead of the race. Jason McFadden, that gap was also coming down between him and Murata. That has now gone back out to about 1.2, 1.3 seconds. And you can see that Murata's trying to do everything he can under brakes to try and gain as much time. Unfortunately for him, it swung the complete opposite way. The gap now only 0.4 of a second, because going wide has now shallowed his entry into 2, which ruins the run to 3 and 4. And whereas McFadden did not make that mistake, so he is able to capitalize massively, and he's gained about a second on Murata, and the battle for the final spot on the podium is still absolutely well and truly on. And I reckon Grant's had another moment, because that gap's now out to 3 seconds.
It is out to 3 seconds, in fact, and it's ever increasing too. So Hanley's just got his wits together and just think about, oh, there goes McFadden, and again over the inside, locks all 4 wheels up, gets himself turned around just into the braking distance marker he could, and kept himself on that black stuff by a whisker there. But that's invited Bullock back into 1.2 second territory as well. So can Sandra's Lovechild get himself back into 4th place and steal it off McFadden? But unlike McFadden to do that with so many clean laps. But geez Louise, this is incredible. It's awesome to see, and these guys know exactly how to go racing. Don't you worry about that. But a unforced error there from McFadden is what he doesn't want to do. A 16.9 was his last lap with that error. That's how costly it is, ladies and gentlemen, out there in the racing land. One mistake can cost you 2 seconds on your lap time. So that is what happened to McFadden. And now Bullock is just starting to edge a little bit closer here onto the back end of Jason McFadden's car. They both make it through turns 2 and 3 nicely. Into turn 4 we go, out the other side, put the power down, throttle trace that thing to an nth degree, and then power your way out. That is a personal best there for Bullock on his opening stanza of lap 31. Lap 32, so to speak, and he is now just starting to get a little bit green misty now. He thought it was all over, just sit there for 5th place, and McFadden made an error, and this has given him half a sniff. So we've got everyone inside the top 7. Bar Lachlan Grant on a set of softs, and that seems to be the strategy to go for, because we haven't seen these guys really sort of be on equal to playing grounds here in the first half of this race until the pit stops came out, and then we see what's happening between these two. Darren Clerk was on a set of hards and now he's on a set of softs, so that strategy also works too for yourself to keep yourself inside the top 10. But look at these two go. It's just an art on how to drive and where to put it, because at this stage James Bullock is realistically just trying to hope that McFadden makes another error there with the lead out in front. 3 seconds, Hanley advantage here. Get yourself started cheering, Kirsty, because one part of the handle of the trophy is there. Will it be the second and the one to take it home? We'll only find out in 4 minutes and change time.
It's going to be the longest 4 minutes of these top 2 drivers' lives, because it is now all to play for. It looks like the mistakes are maybe starting to creep in, but we still don't exactly know what's going on with Lachlan Grant, because that gap is now over 3 seconds to Dean Hanley there. And so if that continues to go out, expect Murata to try and break into this battle as well, but he is still some 5 seconds behind. So with only 3 and a bit minutes racing left to run, I don't think that 5 second gap is going to be coming in. But this is the man who's been in control. He's played a brilliant strategy. He's been able to essentially get an overcut on the field as well, because he came into the pit with only a car's length lead essentially over his teammate before his teammate made that mistake on the in lap, and he has extended that through the pit cycle to 2 seconds and has only ever extended his lead. So it's been a brilliant strategy play from Dino to get himself into this position. So everything is now on Lachlan Grant to what way this championship is going to fall.
Yeah, it will be, and it'll be interesting to see just exactly how he can negotiate these final 4 laps, I would say, of the race coming his way, because there is Speed Ocean car in front of him, Rob Priest getting right out of the way. Lovely jubbly, he says, and on he goes with 3.1 seconds up his sleeve. He'll be happy with a race win. Anytime that Dino gets a win in the bag is a great day for him, and it's just beautiful, beautiful driving from him. He has commanded this spot, as we said, and just taken it with the overcut. And done a beautiful job on strategy. If you ever want strategy tips, ladies and gentlemen, get yourselves into accelerated training, and you might find yourself up here at the pointy end of the field. Who knows? But Dean Hanley is doing a great job. And it's a beautiful, beautiful sight to see all these lovely cars from the mid to late 80s circulating around here at Sandown. It is just fantastic. We love it. It's a spectacle in itself. Everything looks brilliant out there. And what a beautiful track mod is done by BCRC and Johnny Burden himself as well. But if you haven't already, we're just in the final 2 minutes of this race. Give the channel a subscribe. Like the video, please, and thank you as well. It goes a long way to the algorithm, and click that notification button. If you want to hear myself, Peter Clark, Lindsay Muddle, Chris Munro, we've got Mike Taylor as well in there. Dean Hanley on the comms too as well, the man on screen. Also giving you all the beautiful viewing ships of all leagues. We've got 6-7 leagues now we're broadcasting. If you want to check in for all different sorts of racing, get yourselves into Simsational TV. But we're under 2 minutes. We're nearly in the final minute and a half of this race. And it is going to be Dean Hanley. Go for it. Grey Ward has just gone bang with a super chat right at the dying end. Bring it home, Dino, he says. Well, let's hope that this man on screen can do so. But what can this man on the screen here as well and Jason McFadden do? Because I'm telling you, he is just putting the blowtorch back again on the Lyrical Gangster. He wants that podium, Pete, and he's only got a minute and 14 seconds to go, bar some lap time as well.
Yeah, next lap's going to be it. Next lap will be the final lap of the race. So if he's going to get this done, he's going to need to absolutely nail this final sector of the circuit and navigate 11, 12, and 13 to perfection to get himself that run down the main straight. If he can get the good exit and run down the main straight, he's got a very good opportunity to try and make the move. It looks like he's going to be a bit too far behind to do that, but as you said, absolutely on the blower. He's pulled in that gap of about 2 to 3 seconds after his mistake, and has caught all the way back up, and a podium is still very much on the cards, but they've got to be a little bit careful in this final lap because Bullock has put themselves into a brilliant position to try and pick up any scraps left behind if these two come to blows in these final few corners of the race. Yeah, definitely, and it's looking pretty racy at the moment. Look at McFadden's closing speed, but then he loses it all on the exit there, Craigland style, and the Lyrical Gangster's going to gallop away to about a 5 and a bit tenth advantage by the time they come out the other side, as you can see there. So it'll probably end up being 6 tenths just before they get to the end, but it has been a race. This has been a season, in fact, 7 rounds every fortnight, and it comes down to the final event of the evening to actually crown a champion. But I'll tell you what, this is a good little battle here, and we're loving to see it. But we've got to cross to the man. It is 7 tenths of a second, 5 tenths now. It is only between Grant and Hanley, but the time has run out. The clock has ticked, and we have got a winner here in the Big Bangers, and it's going to be Dean Hanley in the end. He will take the final chockies to the end of it, but at the same time, we have got a new champion, ladies and gentlemen, of the inaugural season of the Big Bangers. Goes to Lachlan Grant in the VK Commodore. Absolute beautiful stuff there. Fantastic, and congratulations. And with that, he will get the driver of the day. Does Lachlan Grant. Had everything coming at him. Incidents, facing the wrong way, puts himself off the circuit, goes for it. But I'll tell you what, in the end, this man is your champion for the season 1 of the Big Bangers, and he is the driver of the day on Simsational TV. And what a way to celebrate it here, just going around and yeeting that car left, right and centre. He will be loving life, and he can now put a crown next to his name on the Discord. Pete, what a race. Oh, it's been a fantastic race, hasn't it, today here at Sandown? I think in this championship though, it's been the second portion that has been brilliant for Lachlan Grant. Heading into this final round, he had won 3 of the 4 previous races, 75% win rate in the last 2 rounds. So he has shown that he's definitely had the pace. His mid-season had a little bit of a lull in it, especially through Darwin and Neeson Creek, because we hadn't seen him take a win since Oran Park. But he has come back very much strong, as if it was a final series. He has done a Chaz Mostert charge towards the end, and he has knocked off Dean Hanley to take the championship. And yeah, I just can't praise the guy enough. He's proved pivotal in the championship.
He has, and he's done an excellent job at it. The second half of the season was where he came alight. He's been up there, he's been around the traps, he's been doing everything. That VK Commodore is an absolute beautiful cup, and he has done it justice here in this season. Congratulations to Lachlan Grant, our season 1 champion. You will get a trophy, my friend. Don't you worry about it. You're going to have to flick us a message on the Discord to send us your postal details and go for it. And you can get that beautiful Simsational TV trophy in the end to that one. We'll go back through the rest of the finishes. Lyrical Gangster gets a 3rd place. McFadden had to settle for 4th by 0.8 of a second. Sandra's Lovechild got 5th for his final dance in the Big Bangers. Andre Elliott 6th, 7th for Clerk. All doing donuts here, these boys. Fitness comes on song late in this one. Gets himself into the top 10, just to remind the boys that he's quick in any car. Ezra Simons will be stoked with a 9th place himself. Pedersen 10th. Derek Whistler in 11th. And Olaf, Jones, Bensley, Sadler, Priest, and Dooley all round out the final one. Dooley's front bonnet's a bit out on the piss there, and so are his headlights there as well, actually. So he's had some contact, but a beautiful example of how to go blue flagging did this man go. But the man of the hour for the race was Dean Hanley. And he took it, and he took it, and he can absolutely put that to confidence for his next season in the Big Bangers. Too close, but not close enough to take the champion off this man. Lachlan Grant, your season 1 Big Bangers champion. Well done indeed. If I can get that applause going there, I hope that turned out for you a lot out there as well. Pretty sure it did. If it didn't, let me just check to see if it came up again. No, didn't want to come up. Good on you. But big round of applause for that man. And he has just exited in style, which means we are going to have to exit in style as well, ladies and gentlemen, because we are going to be back very shortly for Gen 3 Supercars, going up into the upper echelons of the Simsational TV broadcasting at Aussie Sim Racing. So in 20 minutes time, we'll be back there broadcasting for that, so stick around. But only one man could be a champion, and that man was Lachlan Grant. Congratulations again. And Pete, give us a rating out of 10 for that one and some closing comments.
10 out of 10. What else can you rate it? We had a mix of everything. We had split strategies. We had strategies that saw hard compound tires used at the start. We had softs, we had mediums, we had everything under the sun. We had overcuts, we had undercuts. That was just to do with the strategy, let alone the epic on-track battles that we had. We saw massive mistakes. The tensions were high. The pressure cooker was absolutely on. And in the end, I reckon that was a season finale none of us will forget.
Absolutely. That was beautiful stuff down to the wire, down to the final round. And it is absolutely beautiful. Congratulations once again to Lachlan Grant for the championship. But a big thank you to all of our viewers out there tonight. Also, all of our chatters in the chat. And Fabian, Brendan, Kirsty, Tommy, Liam. Who else we got in there as well? We got Nick also. We've got, who else was in there as well? We had, I think we had Banana Rama in there as well too. That was good to see you in there too, my friend. And it has been a pleasure for all of you. And Redfern Racing as well. And the old multi-ninja in 88. Good luck, fellas, he says. So thank you to that. But also, a big thank you to our name and right sponsors in Speed Nation, Simulator Driver Trading, SDT, ARD Importing, and Bilco Pack as well. It's been a pleasure to have you on board with us for this season. But it's all over for us here in the commentary box. Peter Clark will always put the off spinner or the leg spin into the commentary spin himself in Pete. I've been Zach O'Reilly, and guess what? You're not. But until next year, 2026 for the Big Bangers coming your way. You know what to do, ladies and gentlemen. It's goodbye. It's been a Simsational TV production. And as always, keep it flat out.